This meeting is being held in conformance with the Sunshine Law. Notice of time, date, and place has been furnished to the Bergen Record and the Ridgewood News. Notice has also been posted on the bulletin board of the Administration Building. Would the clerk kindly take the roll?
Mayor Giordano.
Here.
Mr. Brennick.
Here.
Ms. Sarah Drake.
Here.
Mr. Martinello.
Here.
Mr. Raimondo.
Here.
Mr. Ritchie.
Here.
Mrs. Weber.
Yes,
All
here.
right.
Everyone kindly rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us have a moment of silence for all our Waldwick veterans, all veterans across our country who have given the ultimate sacrifice so that we could remain in a free country and we could assemble the way we are. Also, on Thursday, September 11th, wherever you are, just bow your head in a moment of prayer to thank our Lord that we are still free, and for all those whose lives were taken from us to keep us free. Clerk, do the prayer.
We thank you for everyone gathered here now. Thank you that you know each of us by name and have caused us to walk with you. We say that we are dependent on you and our trust is in you completely. As we surrender ourselves in adoration, we ask that you would come by your Holy Spirit and inspire our hearts today. Come fill our lives with your love, fill our conversations with your grace and truth, fill this meeting with your presence. We ask this for your glory and praise. Amen.
Amen. In about 5 minutes, half this room will probably be emptied, but that's okay. Tonight, we will be swearing in the 22nd police officer to the Waldwick Police Department. Our police department is a brotherhood, and tonight, Jake Putterman will join this family in protecting our community and its residents. Jake was born and raised in Rivervale, New Jersey, and attended Pascack Valley High School, graduating in 2019. While in high school, Jake was on the high school basketball team. After graduation, Jake attended Roger Williams University in Bristol, Rhode Island, graduating in 2023 with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. After college, Jake moved back home to Rivervale. Jake applied and was accepted to the Passaic County Alternate Route Program for entry-level police training, where he is currently enrolled with the graduation date of October 17th. Jake was interviewed by our police chief, police advisory board, our borough attorney. I want to thank all of you for a great job you did. I was told that during the selection process, Jake exhibited the traits required of a Waldwick police officer, which is high character, honor, integrity, and respect. All necessary traits required to serve the residents of the borough. Jake is a welcome addition to the Waldwick police roster as a 22nd sworn-in police officer, where he will be wearing the badge 63. Jake, we wish you much success and happiness in your new position as a police officer here in Waldwick, and we hope that you have a rewarding career protecting all our residents of Waldwick. The only thing we ask you is you got to move to Waldwick. Rivervale's nice, but you can move to Waldwick. At this time, I'd like to have Jake come up with his family to be sworn in.
Let's go then. I state your name.
I, Jake Putterman,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully
impartially, and justly perform
and justly and partially perform
all the duties of police officer
all the duties of a police officer
for the Borough of Waldwick,
for the Borough of Waldwick,
Bergen County,
Bergen County,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
and that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and that I will bear fair truth and allegiance
to the same
to the same,
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in the state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tonight, we will also be swearing in our first two SLEO O Class 3 police officers, Mario Cartus and Police Officer Mario Cartus and Police Officer Michael Christensen. Both police officers are residents of the Borough of Waldwick. I had the honor to meet with Mario Wednesday when I saw him in the grounds of the high school. I stopped and I said hello to him and thanked him for taking on this responsibility. He right away started to tell me about everything that he is doing, the places he's going to be, which I will not tell you because then you'll know where he's going to be. Then I spoke with Michael on Friday when he was leaving his post to go back into the police station, and I also thanked him for his service to our borough. Both men have a great love for their work, and we are looking forward to making them be of great difference to our community. They're going to be protecting our students just in case. Mario retired from the Union City Police Department where he served since 2008, retiring in 2023 as a detective sergeant. Michael is a retired United States Marine. I got it mixed up, I think. You're the Marine. Michael's a Marine. Mario graduated from Union City. Am I correct? Right. And then Michael served in the Inglewood Police Department from 2002 to 2023. He is a retired U.S. Marine. But that doesn't mean that you're any different, but that's all right. Both men have a long history of law enforcement history and certifications and training. When I looked at their resumes, it is so lengthy that we couldn't put everything on paper. So if you ever want to know anything about two good men, just talk to them and you'll know. Their whole lives have been dedicated to serving residents where they worked and protecting their communities. As Michael said in his resume about him and Mario, they will be Class 3 officers in Waldwick Public Schools. They will provide school safety and community security through leveraging law enforcement experiences, training in crisis intervention, and strategic policing methods. It was an honor to partner with the Board of Education, with the President of the Board, Dan Marrow, who is here with us tonight, with the Waldwick Police Department, and all the officers that interviewed each one of them. I was also told that everyone that put in a resume was very qualified, but these two stuck out from the rest. We are ready if anything should happen in making sure our students are safe and well protected. A lot of people might have thought that this is not the right thing to do, but it is the right thing to do because you never know. So now we are ready. Waldwick is always ready, and Waldwick is always moving forward. We'd like to thank you, Mario and Michael, for accepting this position, and thank you for your service to our borough, protecting us if it's ever needed. At this time, we'd like you to come up with your family and be sworn in by our clerk.
Yep, ready. I state your name.
I, Mario Cartus,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially, and justly
impartially, and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of Special Law Enforcement Officer 3
of Special Law Enforcement Officer
for
3
the Borough of Waldwick,
for the Borough of Waldwick,
Bergen County,
Bergen County,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability,
And that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
And that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the government established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the
So help me
people.
God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We're going to take a 2-minute break so we can congratulate all our officers who are now in the division in Laurel.
Officer 3.
Hey, good to see you. Nice to meet you, son. Yeah, good to see you. I'll get there. And then there's other people back right there.
Tape is on.
At this time, I asked Lieutenant Seifert to kindly talk with us about what's going on so far with the beginning of the school year, with the traffic patterns, with the new officers that are in the schools, and what's going on with the safety of our community.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for this evening. It's a great night for the Waldwick Police Department, for the Borough of Waldwick. Just want to give everybody a little synopsis on our SLEOs and they've began their jobs for us. We have a fantastic plan in place. Our SLEOs are giving us nothing but good feedback from not only our school staff and our school administrators, but our residents in the community. I think this program was kind of twofold. It was hard and difficult to start the program. That was a part of it, but finding the two right officers was, I think, the most important part. And I'm happy to report that a week and a half in, we found them. So this we couldn't have asked for a better situation going on right now. Also, they're helping out not only with our school security, but for traffic. We're seeing a serious reduction in our Crescent Ave traffic coming out of the parking lot. They've been a big help for us there. They're monitoring our upper lot. Our lower lot still has a lot of parking spaces left open. We're hoping people to gravitate down there a little bit. That would help out. but they've been moving that along. And then our Summit Ave plan, we're seeing increased pedestrian and vehicular safety on Summit Ave, which has really been our goal from the start. We are still seeing a backup inside the parking lot that's coming out onto Ridge, but we didn't think that our one-way street would solve that. We were pretty set from the start that this would relieve traffic on Summit and it would make it safe for our kids to cross the street there, which has been the goal. Remember I told you when we spoke about a month or two ago that the reason we were doing this mainly was the left from Ridge to Summit was extremely dangerous, and we had the serious chance of an issue happening there. Our crossing guard reported after the second day, this is now his second school year there, and he's never felt as safe this year as since he's been on the post, which tells a lot. So I'm happy to report that's going well. Fingers crossed. So I'm
What
more
about
than
other
happy.
areas in the town? Anything with that report?
So I was speaking to Mr. Neal today. We have some new traffic countermeasures that we're ordering. I have a couple extra quotes that I was able to get in touch with today. We are going to go hard with our plan to sign the grid streets. The grid streets would be Waldock, Bergen for no truck traffic, anything over 4 tons. We're permitted to do that by ordinance, so we're going to move along with buying our signs. We do have stuff into our borough engineers for Harrison and Frederick and Walter Hammond. We're exploring maybe a 4-way stop there. So we have several things that we're working on right now, so.
Anybody have any questions for Troy?
Turn it.
No? Well, every once in a while, I'll let you come over, I won't let you, but you could come to the meeting and say hello to us and let us know what you're thinking and if you have any ideas and thoughts.
More than happy to, sir. Thank you very much. And thank you to the mayor and council, Mr. Neal, Ms. Marquis. Congratulations, Ms. Marquis. But
For what?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And this time, we're going to have Andrew Parenti to present the 2026 budget and 2024 audit presentation.
You could do podium.
Yeah,
Or if you want to sit here. Yeah.
Now, everything that we're reviewing right now is on our website for you to review.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Do you all have your audit reports for the year ending December 31st, 24? Okay. What I would just like you to do is go to page 5 in the audit report. And what I'm going to just focus on would be the borough's fund balance for the year ending December 31st, 2024. If you have any questions as I'm going through, please chime in and we'd have a conversation. But the first area I'm going to focus on is the borough's fund balance. If you're on page 5, we're going to focus on the 24 column, and we're going to come around three quarters of the way down the page, and you're going to see fund balance January 1. The borough started the year with $7,150,000 in fund balance. Come down a little further, fund balance December 31st, we ended with $6,583,000. Okay, fund balance was reduced by $566,000 in 2024, and I'm going to explain how that occurs. Basically, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just shift to the top of the page where you have your revenues and other income. You see you have fund balance utilized of $2,195,000. You have miscellaneous revenues anticipated, which are basically your borough licenses, your state aid, cell tower fees of $5.5 million. You had receipts from delinquent taxes of $235,000. You had receipts from taxes of $48.5 million. You had non-budget revenues of $575,000, which are primarily interest on deposits, recycling fees, and sale of vehicles. We had unexpended balance of appropriation reserves of $330,000. What happens in the state of New Jersey is your budget has a 2-year life cycle. So what you don't spend from a budget, and it lapses to fund balance. So this 330,000 was what you didn't spend from your 23 budget. And then we had some other miscellaneous revenues here. As far as expenditures, the first grouping, these are your budget operations, so your salary and wages, other expenses, capital improvements, municipal debt service, deferred charges, those are all expenses of the municipality, and they total $16.5 million. The next item would be your county taxes. I'm going to add a few lines here. Since we collect the taxes for the school and the county, we then have to pay the county share and the school share. So our county taxes in '24 were $5 million, and then the local district school taxes were $34 million. And then we had open space taxes of $82,000. So if you just go down a little further, you're going to see that you had excess in revenue of $1,628,261. Okay? Now, when I first started, I indicated that our fund balance went down by $566,000. How that occurs is when you anticipate fund balance or surplus as a revenue, where the borough, on that first line at the top, we anticipated $2,195,000. Of that $2,195,000, we only regenerated $1.6 million. So the surplus that was anticipated exceeded what we had, regenerated, and so that's where how the fund balance went down. If you go to your handout, the first page of the handout, I basically analyze the $1,628,000 that we were able to regenerate, and I identified the different areas. So the first area, we had excess receipts from current year tax collections of $574,000. What that means is basically your tax collections exceeded what you had anticipated. And that's going to be the case for each of these revenues. So your receipts from prior year taxes generated $1,400. Your excess receipts from miscellaneous revenue anticipated generated $86,000. And I'm going to come back to that number. We had receipts from miscellaneous revenue not anticipated of $575,000. We had lapsed 2023 appropriation reserves of $330,000, other credits to income of $62,000, and then some other miscellaneous items there. That's how you got to the $1,628,261 of regenerated fund balance. If you could just go back to your audit report now and go to page 6. Okay, this is a statement of your revenues, and you're going to see you have miscellaneous revenues, and then the miscellaneous revenues go 3/4 of the way down the page. If you look at the column to the far right-hand column, you had excess revenues of the $86,089. Okay? So that's a net number. The different revenues, how you fared in the different miscellaneous revenues are analyzed on this page. So if you're going down, you can see construction code official. You budgeted $201,000, but you realized $254,000. So that department generated $53,000 in excess revenues in '24. Other department fees and permits were able to generate $31,000. The municipal court generated $22,000. You'll see sewer rents, we had budgeted $99,500, but we only realized $43,645. So there was a shortfall of $55,800. And then it just carries down. But this schedule here identifies how the different miscellaneous revenues fared in '24. Okay. What I would like to do real quick is just take a quick look at water on page 20 of your audit report. And so it's the same process. This is your statement of operations and changes in fund balance for water operating. 3/4 of the way down the page, your fund balance at January 1 was $2,188,000. Go down to the last line, your fund balance at December 31st, 2024 was $2,201,000, which is an increase of $13,888. So your water utility in '24 basically broke even. And again, I won't go into much detail here, but it's the same process where you compare your revenues to your expenses and then see how much your excess in revenues was able to regenerate. Any questions on those two schedules? All right, what I would like to do then is just kind of focus on the handout a little bit. So, and flip to page 2. So what I did here was, I did, for both the current fund and water operating, we did a comparative schedule of fund balance for the previous 5 years. All right, so in 2020, the borough had $7.5 million in fund balance, and then the next column, utilized in budget of succeeding year, we anticipated $1.5 million, which then left behind the 5.9 or $6 million in 20. In 21, your fund balance remained basically stable at $7.6 million. We utilized $1.9 million in the budget, and then that left $5.6 million behind. In 22, the fund balance, again, stable, increased to $7.6 million, and then we utilized $2.1 million. In 23, the fund balance was reduced. It was reduced down to $7.1 million. And then we anticipated, again, $2.2 million. And then in 24, the fund balance was also was reduced, and that was reduced by the 566, and that fund balance ended the year at the $6.5 million. And then in the 25 budget, that's the utilizing budget of the succeeding year, we anticipated $2,526,000 of fund balance. Then that left behind the $4 million. So although the fund balance has been reduced the last couple of years, it's still it's a very healthy fund balance. You had your last bond rating with Moody's was back in 20 when we had our last bond sale, and you're a what are we? You're an A2, double A2, which is a very good rating. And according to Moody's at that time, your fund balance was very healthy. So although it's gone down the last couple of years, again, it's a healthy fund balance. The thing about fund balance that you want to try it to be stable. So you want to try to regenerate what you're anticipating on an annual basis in order to keep it at a stable level. Okay, I'll just discuss water operating. Your fund balance in 2020 was $1.7 million. We utilized $170,000. In 21, it was $1.7 million, relatively flat. Same $170,000 anticipated. In 22, it went up to $2 million. In 23, it went up to $2.2 million. And in 24, it remained flat at the $2.2 million. And I just want to focus on the utilized in budget of the succeeding year. You're going to see a spike in the 24 year. And the reason for that increase up to the $592,000 is because the debt service related to your 25 iBank loan is kicking in 2025. So your debt service appropriation is increasing, and in the 25 budget, we used some more fund balance for that. Okay. If we could flip to the next page of the handout. What I just did here was, we did a comparison of your municipal budgets for the last 5 years. So in '21, the annual budget was 13.8 million. In '22, it went up to 14.5 million. In '23, it went up to 15.5 million, and it increased by $1 million in '23. In that year, you guys had 2 special emergencies. You had it was the revaluation for $275,000, and you had, there was a flood in the municipal building, and we had to cover the cost of that. That was $200,000. In '24, your budget was relatively flat at the 15.5 million. And then in '25, the '25 budget increased up to 16.4 million. That increase was primarily, it was the result of additional salary and wages of 247,000, other expenses, which are basically your department's expenses. They increased by 121,000. You had sewer fees for the Northwest Bergen Sewer. They increased by 217,000, and then your debt service increased by 231,000. And then I did the same for your water operating. Your water operating adopted budget in '21 was 1.9 or almost 2 million. In '22, it went down to 1.8 million. In '23, 1.9 million. '24, 2 million, and then '25. It increased to 2.5 million, and again, that's related to your sewer debt, your iBank debt service. Okay. And then the last page, I just put together, what this represents is your '25 adopted budget in different expenditure categories. And so you could see, and a lot of these items, you don't really have control over. In fact, in the budget, it's limited to what you have control over. And as I go down, you'll see what I'm saying. So at budget time, you have your salary and wage increases, and they've already been negotiated. So when it's time for budget, you have to just include in the budget what that next year's required appropriation for salary and wages is going to be. So in the '25 budget, we had appropriated 5.2 million for salary and wages. Then you had general liability insurance, 417,000. You have employee group health, 864,000. Those are set by state rates. So we have no control over how much our health benefits are going to increase from one year to the next. Solid waste collection, 578,000, that's a contract. The sanitary landfill dump fees, 350,000, that's another contract. Your utilities, your PSE&G, telephone, all those utilities, 506,000. Your public employee retirement system, 263,000. The state tells us annually how much we have to contribute to that pension fund. Same with the police and fire retirement system, 899,000. Social Security, it's 395,000. That's just the 7.65. That's your employer's share of your salary and wages. Sewer authority costs, 2,084,000. That's, they send you guys a letter, and this is what we need to appropriate. Grants, they vary from year to year. Capital Improvement Fund, 101,000. That goes to the General Capital Fund to fund your bond ordinances. Debt service, 1.7 million. Your library appropriations were 778,000. Your reserve for uncollected taxes was 977,000. And then that basically leaves other expenses, which are primarily for your departments, of $2 million. So, like I said, when it comes to budget time, it's limited in the appropriations that we actually have control over. So,
That kind of concludes my presentation. If there's any questions.
Anybody have any questions for Andrew?
And I'll just note that the full audit is posted on the website. All the audits are posted up there, so you can, catch up and read through. If anyone has something really specific you want to dial in on, with Andrew, you can reach out to Tatiana, myself, and we'll connect you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew.
Next person who will be speaking with us is Anna Montfort, who is Esquire, who is our redevelopment attorney.
Hello, Mayor, council members, Mr. Bassong, Tatiana, and Ms. Howitz. It's nice to meet you. I have not had the pleasure of meeting all of you, but thank you again for appointing me redevelopment counsel. I look forward to working with each and every one of you. And tonight, I just wanted to really introduce myself and to just give you a quick overview on the redevelopment process, even though you have started it and are well underway. I just have a few things to hand out, and like I said, it's just a quick overview on the principles of redevelopment.
What we are reading tonight will also be posted on our website.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, it's here.
We took it from Craig.
Okay. So redevelopment is a public-private partnership, and it's really beneficial for a municipality to achieve its goals in a cohesive project, generally to redevelop areas that have been designated an area in need of redevelopment, which are blighted, to stimulate economic growth and to introduce additional housing, even affordable housing requirements that are by state, and you can meet all of that through the redevelopment process. Under the redevelopment law, the governing body is given certain authority. So they have the power to initiate an investigation to determine whether an area is in need of redevelopment, and you have to meet certain criteria before that can be established. And it's the planning board who investigates the area to determine whether it meets the criteria. And after they hold a public hearing on the proposed redevelopment area designation, they make a recommendation back to the governing body on what should be included in the area, whether good properties should be included in the area, because it's viewed as an area in whole, not individual properties. So you may have some individual properties that don't necessarily meet the definition of blight, but are still included in the overall property for the benefit of the redevelopment plan and for the benefit of the area. Once that is done, and the governing body makes a determination that an area is in fact in need of redevelopment, then it goes to adoption of a redevelopment plan. Again, either the governing body can authorize the planning board to make a plan, or they can authorize the planning board to review a plan. The plan has to have certain things in it. It has to make sure it is either superseding or in conformance with the master plan. There are state requirements also included in the redevelopment plan. So once a redevelopment plan is adopted, then the municipality carries out the redevelopment plan or can create a redevelopment authority to carry out the redevelopment plan. And that is really negotiating and entering into a redevelopment agreement with the redeveloper, and possibly negotiating and entering into a financial agreement with an urban renewal entity for a tax exemption, so that the project has the best chance of being finished and the area is redeveloped in accordance with the plan. So here, we're at the redevelopment agreement drafting stage. There was a large area already designated as an area in need of redevelopment. We are looking at a specific lots and blocks known as the Harrison Avenue redevelopment area, and that was designated in September 2024. A redevelopment plan for the Harrison Avenue redevelopment area was adopted in December 2024. And so now we're at the point where the governing body should be thinking about entering into and negotiating a redevelopment agreement with the redeveloper. The redeveloper agreement is broken up into certain different areas. There's the redeveloper undertaking and also the borough's responsibilities. So the redeveloper must construct the uses in the redevelopment plan, and that has to be specified in the agreement. Because what ends up happening is that the redevelopment agreement controls the development of what's in the plan. So the redeveloper has to begin the construction of the development within a reasonable period of time. It has to stick to a schedule with a completion date. They have to obtain all approvals for development. They have to pay costs of property acquisition, public improvements, utility relocation, engineering, environmental, other public improvements or amenities as decided by the borough and its needs. Typically, that's done with a escrow account for the municipal costs regarding the project. And then there's also a duty for the redeveloper to just report periodically to the borough on the progress of the project. The borough has the power to condemn in certain situations. I know you have two different redevelopment areas, and one has the power of condemnation and one doesn't, so I guess you're all familiar with that. But when there's no property acquisition needed, the borough just continues. But if you had acquired property either through condemnation or there's municipal property within the redevelopment plan, you have to convey that property to the redeveloper. The borough would have an obligation to relocate if it is their property and it's part of the plan, any businesses or residential tenants in the project. You'd have to provide street vacation, cooperate with the redeveloper in getting approvals, and considering a tax abatement for the project. There are certain standard provisions in the redevelopment agreement. There are restrictions on the transfer of the property. So the redeveloper cannot just start a project and then decide, oh, I'm going to give it to another developer to complete it. I don't have the funds. If the redeveloper wants to transfer the project or the property, it has to come before the municipality and seek approval for that. It's got to be written consent, and that's a statutory requirement.
Excuse me for a minute, could you just talk a little bit more into the mic, because the gentleman on the phone can't hear you.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, just bring it to you, thank you.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
And then there these restrictions that are tied to the property and the project are extinguished once the project is complete and a certificate of completion is granted. The municipality can also consider a long-term tax exemption under the long-term tax exemption law or short-term law. They're different. The long-term tax exemption law is for like 30 years or less, whereas the short-term is for a 5-year period. But the redeveloper would make payments in lieu of taxes instead of paying conventional ad valorem taxes. The benefit to the municipality is that the municipality would get to keep 95% of the tax revenue, and 5% would have to go to the county. And it really just ensures that the redevelopment project will be completed. And sometimes the costs of development are so large that the redeveloper has no incentive to start a project or complete it without some assistance. And so to make sure, or to ensure that a project does reach completion, many times pilots are granted. So that's just a quick overview. Questions?
Could you discuss a little bit about pilot programs, because that was a big concern for some of the residents?
Sure. What would you like to know?
Pros and cons.
Okay. So under a pilot, what would typically happen is the redeveloper requests the municipality to look at giving a payment in lieu of tax option, right? So instead of paying taxes on the land and on the project, they would have this one payment that would be made. And 95% of that revenue would go to the municipality. 5% would go to the county. And so in that situation, the municipality gets a greater share. The amount of the pilot payment is typically negotiated, and we have financial advisors on either side. The developer will try to make it so that the project is economically feasible, that they have a rate of return on the project that makes business sense for them, whereas the municipality needs to make sure that it's still achieving tax revenue. And so it's a negotiated item. The term is negotiated, but it's typically 30 years. The payments would start once the project is complete, although it's negotiated prior. And sometimes we've had questions about what happens with the school boards because there doesn't seem to be any money going to them. And that's kind of a misrepresentation of how it works, because the school board budget is set and that money is always, it doesn't change. Whatever that school board budget is, they achieve and they obtain. So we're not, a pilot does not necessarily mean that the school board is not getting any of the budgeted money.
So theoretically, it's either the borough benefits or the developer benefits?
No, it's actually both.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Is there like a calculation guide, some kind of formulaic method to come up with that pilot dollar amount? Or is it just pure negotiation based upon the cost of the development project versus what they're willing to pay?
No, there is there's a true breakdown of what the costs are, what their rate of return would be, and how much the municipality would make, right? So there is, and that's why you need financial advisors to go through it, because it does become quite involved, but there are considerations to make. The negotiation part is that perhaps the rate of return is low, but then the municipality is not getting enough money. And so you want to make sure that it's balanced, right? That the rate of return is sufficient so that the developer can make money and have an investment, like a reason to want to complete the redevelopment project. But at the same time, you want to make sure that the municipality achieves tax revenue for the municipality.
I guess it's just a pure calculation. You got to take
Yeah.
an estimate of what we think the tax valuation of that property is going to be. What our tax rate would be.
Right.
If we were not having a pilot program. Compare that against what the calculation is going to be for the pilot payments and see where we break out on that.
Yeah,
that's
and
what the
usually-
financial advisor to do that calculation.
Usually that is all, it's called a pro forma, and that is prepared by the developer. They submit it as part of their application process, and then the municipality would have a chance to review it and to figure out if it makes financial sense.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions?
Yeah, so just to, thank you very much for that presentation. Just to circle back to a comment you made. So you believe that the notion that the schools do not make out in a pilot program is potentially a misrepresentation. They're going to submit a budget, they're going to get their budget.
Right.
Right, okay,
Yeah, they always get funded.
thank you.
Sure. So in regards to the pilot, you're stating that you project these numbers based on the financial plan for 30 years. And what if things change within the development? You know, you project that you're going to have X number of children of school age, and you know that does incur a cost with the borough, pretty significant cost. Can that be adjusted over time, or can that be part of the dialogue in the 30-year plan?
So what happens is when you have school-aged children, there is a study that was done by Rutgers that you make I know, but you make a calculation, and it's pretty accurate. I mean, we've used it in so many redevelopment projects. And it's formulaic, so you come with a certain number of children that would be that would appear to be represented in that development, and it's based on different number of bedrooms and who you're marketing to, and then you have your numbers based on that. But it depends on how your pilot is structured, if it's on, the pilot payment is structured, if it's on total project cost or your revenue, right? Because if it's on your revenue, it might change over time. But typically, it's total project cost, and so that number is set, and then there's both the redeveloper knows what they're paying, and the municipality also knows what they're getting.
But it doesn't have to be a 30-year plan, correct?
No.
It can be negotiated for any term,
Correct.
and you can put in projected dollars
Yes.
for the Board of Ed so that they don't get shortchanged. Because I guess I look at it from the cost of a regular student is very different than the cost of a special needs student. You know, we probably have about 15% of our students are special needs. That's my cost.
Okay.
That's one of my concerns. That can be incurred, and the developer makes more profit at the expense of the borough, and then the residents will be on the hook for all those extra dollars.
So I have never seen the carve-out, especially for special needs. It's something that I'd have to look into.
Because typically that's anywhere from $55,000 and up.
Okay.
For a special needs student, depending on if it's in-house or if they have to be sent out.
Okay. I would have to get back to you on that.
Anyone else?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Is there any cap on what the developer can make in way of profits in that? We're bad negotiators, they make a good deal with us. Is there a cap by law that has to, limit what they can make in profit from a pilot program?
Yes, there is. It's a 12% cap.
Thank you.
And it can also be graduated as well, right? When you're discussing or negotiating a redevelopment, when you're negotiating a pilot payment, you can start out as at 10%, and then the following year it goes up to 11% or 14%. So there are different ways of structuring it. But it's really important to see what the total project cost is and to just run the numbers.
And if they do make above the 12% when they submit their annual audited financial statement, any excess comes to the municipality.
Correct.
just so everybody's aware of that.
Yeah.
Our program right now, our redevelopment, everything's on schedule, everything's all right? You've been reviewing stuff, right? There's not a-
Yes, yeah. It was all approved. There were no challenges, so everything seems to be in order. And it's just a matter of negotiating the redevelopment agreement.
What is that process and who's involved in the negotiation?
So it would be the developer's attorneys. I would be doing it alongside Mr. Basang, and then you would all have a chance to review the draft. We would work on it together, and you would have to approve the draft. So any considerations that you have would be thought about, would be discussed, and it would be incorporated into the redevelopment agreement. Sometimes municipalities make a smaller committee of 2 or 3 members to go through it, and then present to the larger council. Other times, it's full council, and we just make sure you have a chance to review the draft and get comments back. So it's however you decide that you want to proceed.
Quick question regarding that. So if we don't put a commission together, we can't solicit responses from the developer and their attorney on our own?
No,
It has to
go through me.
You?
Yes.
Or Mr. Bazan, or actually it's through
It
you?
would be through me.
So everything would have it going through you, not on our own? And what happens if someone chooses to go on their own and have a meeting with them? Is that a violation of ethics laws?
Yes, and it would, you want the redevelopment process to be transparent, but you want to make sure that people can trust one another and work together, right? Because as I said before, it's a public-private partnership. So typically, both parties are working together to better the borough, right? And that's what you want to see, that you're coming together to work for a common goal. Of course, there are issues that arise, and so you want to keep everything above board because you don't want to get into a situation where you're litigating. It detracts from what you are planning to do. It takes away money from the borough, and once you have a redevelopment process fail, residents are less happy with what's going on. So you want to keep it moving in the right direction, and for it to move in the right direction, you need transparency.
So the best way to do that with transparency, because you said that twice already, is we should have the full council at all times taking care of this. And we should have the public be at the meetings so that they can hear what's going on.
That's up to you, and I will
Transparent with our residents.
I will defer to you. I'm here just to help facilitate the process, but really, that's a council decision.
Okay, great, thank you. Anyone else? If not, thank you so much.
Thank you, that was very informative. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can the public ask you a question?
No,
To her, no?
not right now. Anna, would you mind if we have some comments from the public to ask you a question or two?
No, sure.
All right, gentlemen, unfortunately, he was first. You can just give us your name, and Anna will answer your question for you.
Jim Schultz, 52 Harrison Avenue. Going back to the question with the school revenue, so if the pilot program brings in $100,000, $5,000 goes to the county, $95,000 goes to the borough. Of that $95,000, how much can be put toward the school budget?
Whatever the council wants to do, but generally, they keep it for their own discretion because the school board will continue to get whatever was budgeted for them.
Right, they're getting it budgeted because the town's paying for it. My question is, the $95,000 that goes to municipality, can any of that be used to pay the Board of Ed budget?
Yes.
It can, even though everything in the state says none of that funding can be paid for that. Everything I've read basically said the 95% cannot offset the school budget.
We've had a couple agreements. It doesn't upset the school budget. It's just the municipality can do what it chooses with the revenue. But it doesn't have to go because the school board is already being funded by how it's budgeted.
Right, based on the tax, but if the lots that you're taking, right, for this redevelopment, say it generates $50,000 in taxes. If the school board budget is 50%, they get $25,000 of that taxes. Now that $50,000 goes away in this pilot program because you're not collecting those taxes. So who makes up that $25,000 of lost taxes that went to the Board of Ed?
I'm not sure who makes it up, but it's not coming out of the school board's budget. I can get back to you, right, I can get back to you on that.
Okay, I understand. I mean, if the school board's getting $3 million, that's fine. But if the houses that are redeveloped paid 1% of that, that 1% goes away because of the pilot, who funds that other 1%? That's my concern.
Right, but it doesn't increase, if your concern is, does it increase the tax burden on the rest of the residents? Is that what I'm understanding the question
Because you have to make up the lost money that the taxes that were generated, the $50,000 and 50% went to the school board. That $25,000 has to be made up somewhere because you can't get it. That taxes is now part of the pilot program. Unless you're telling me out of that $95,000, the council can take the money out of the pilot program and offset the school budget.
We have had certain towns do that, but it's not necessary to do it because they always receive the budgeted amount.
Okay. How many of these have you negotiated in the size of the town of Waldwick?
None.
None. So is this your first one you would be doing?
In Waldwick?
Or a town our size? I mean, I've read your resume. You've done some big towns, big cities.
Yes.
Have you done it the size of Waldwick, a community this size?
Personally, no, but our firm has.
Okay.
All different sizes.
And as far as the contract, when it gets written up, the mayor mentioned it would be open to the public. Can the public be on that committee also, or is it no one allowed on the committee except for the council?
Not generally, but it depends on what the council wants to do. If he wants to hold hearings, and you're talking about the pilot, right?
Right.
So that is done by ordinance. And I'm sure, from what I'm understanding of the council, they'd like to have public comment.
Okay. And when the contract's written, can you write your own contract? So if Waldwick wanted to put something special in, as Councilman Raimondo said, with education, if it exceeds 15 children in that building, then there's a different tax rate, or the pilot's assessed differently. Can that be done?
Certain things can be negotiated. I don't know specifically about Mr. Raimondo's question, so I have to check on that. But typically, yes.
Okay, so it's pretty open then, however the borough would like to negotiate it.
There are certain requirements that have to be met, but if the borough is receiving 95% and chooses to use its revenue, it has discretion over how it uses its revenue.
Okay. And I know in the state there's a packet that you have to follow, and I think in the one brochure it says there has to be a cost-benefit analysis. Does that still need to be done?
Yeah.
And who does that, the council, or do you do that?
No, so those are the financial advisors.
Okay. And
I believe the borough has already hired a financial advisor, Phoenix.
okay, and what happens if the cost-benefit analysis comes back negative?
So the borough does not have to accept a pilot payment, right? They do not have to grant a tax exemption. But for redevelopment, it's a tool that's used to ensure that the project is actually completed, and that the blighted area is turned into an economically viable area, right? And it gives other benefits to the township, to the borough. But nothing has to be granted. So just because you're entertaining it, right, you want to make sure that both parties receive a benefit.
Okay. And do you know of any being done if the cost-benefit analysis was a negative?
I've never seen that happen.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Angela Smith. I don't know if there's a question for you or for the council. I think there's some confusion about the Harrison development, whether it's going to be all rental, combined rental ownership, or combined retail and residential. So I'm just asking, there's a lot of confusion amongst residents about what that's going to be. I'm not sure who needs to answer that question.
From my assumption, it was a mixed-use retail with 21 apartments, so that would be rental, and 21 townhomes. And some of that would be affordable housing units. I believe there are 9.
And the townhomes would be for purchase, for ownership?
It's rental.
Yeah, it's all rental.
Still rental, okay.
How many affordable units? I thought it was only 3.
It's a 15% set aside, I think, right? So I think it's,
Okay.
And how many units total?
Oh, 6.
6.
But you have a credit for 9.
Yeah, because of the transit,
Right.
Yeah, that was going to be my other question with low to moderate income housing, how that works, how that feeds into the calculation for a pilot, if it is adjusted.
It's factored in.
It's factored in there, okay. Because as Mark was saying, the school numbers do change, and in this town, they've changed quite a bit through the years. So just, the long-term pilot of 30 years, thinking back 30 years to how the schools have changed and the number of students that have come into each grade, I don't know if there's a factor of how that's happened in the historical sense.
So there is a factor that we consider based on this Rutgers study, and they break it down by both affordable housing units and regular units, and they come up with a projected number of students based on different types of units and different bedroom sizes, and is pretty accurate.
Okay. And does it take into account the historical way that things have fluctuated in Waldwick, or is it just?
And it's statewide.
Just by statewide measures? Okay. Thank you.
She mentioned about businesses. How many businesses are going to be put in the area?
I don't know exactly.
Residential on the bottom,
it's 4,000 square
Yeah,
feet.
but I don't know what's going there.
4,000 square feet. So it'll be one business, maybe 2, 3, whatever.
Could be one, but in the plans, they showed 4 different 1,000 square foot businesses.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But I don't know that that has been determined.
No, but that's
Yeah.
just what it's.
Hi, Catherine Hartman. What percentage of developments of this nature access pilot programs, specifically like in our region?
I don't know the percentage. I can find that out for you at the next meeting.
Okay.
But of the projects that I work on, typically, most of them use pilot.
Okay.
As an incentive.
It seems odd to me that someone would buy property to develop something and then not have the funds to complete the project already secured, but maybe that's just typical for development, I don't know. I would just be very interested, I guess, in other local towns. Ridgewood, Hohokus have specifically done redevelopments recently, and I'd be interested to see what their pilot models look like, specifically around their train stations, how long their terms were for, et cetera. Okay, thank you.
That can all be done, but I just wanted to point out something, that when you're doing a redevelopment project, it's not a standalone just construction like a single property, right? So what happens is there's a lot of public investment, whether it's infrastructure, whether it's things to do with the train station, and all of that public investment would make the project very expensive. And so the incentive is, no, we need to update this. We need to update sewer lines. We need to update all of this infrastructure, right, to handle this type of development. And that's what would make the town, it progresses the town, right? Because you are taking an area that has been blighted. And that's why you look at the criteria to determine whether it is an area in need of redevelopment or not. And so it's more than just a simple building. it's really a lot of costs, environmental cleanup costs,
So this
right?
would be almost money we would get earlier to do our public works to help the development?
Kind of, right?
Okay.
But the project itself becomes more expensive to deal with all of these other issues that you wouldn't necessarily see. And so because of that, the benefit to the borough is to have the work done the way it wants it done for the future. And it becomes cost prohibitive at times. So you use these tools to make it,
That's very helpful information.
yeah, to
Thank you.
make it an investment opportunity for the developer, or else it would be really hard to attract developers who know what they're doing, who do a good job, because that's the other part of it, right? You want to make sure that the developer that you choose can actually complete the job in accordance with the redevelopment plan.
Even with unexpected municipal expenses or community expenses.
Right.
That's interesting. Thank you. That's
Those
helpful.
development items you're talking about are the things the developer has to do,
Correct.
not the town.
That
So
may
it's
cost
the-
more for them.
For them. to-
Yes.
I understand.
That benefit us.
And there are also sometimes in redevelopment agreements, we also talk about community benefits, right? So a project of this size, there may be safety concerns. We need to hire a new police officer because there are extra people. We need a new ambulance, or there are different factors that come into play, and that's all part of the negotiation.
So we could ask the developer for something of that nature.
As long as it's related to the project, yes. In certain projects that I'm working on, we've even gotten money donations to contribute to a senior center or to open space, to create a park for children, or we've done different things.
That's down the road now, when everything starts up. Thank you very much.
But that is something for the council, I think, to keep in mind, is what you expect the project to look like and what you think it would require.
Another quick question. Pilot programs have to be initiated before ground is broken, correct?
They do not. They typically are negotiated prior. Sometimes they're a condition in the
So I'm saying
redevelopment
it has to be done
agreement.
Before they break ground.
Yes, but you don't start the payment until it's completed.
No, that
Yes,
part I
but
understand,
yes.
but if they break ground and then they decide they want to initiate a pilot program, it's too late, correct?
I'm not sure about that, because there are tons of projects where you start demolition.
Isn't that up to the council to make that decision? If you don't want
I
to-
can double check that.
Okay, nobody else from the public? Anna, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And whoever asks questions, you'll make sure that Steve and Tatiana get the
Yeah.
answers from them? Go
I
ahead.
will email them tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to have reports of the committee. Matt?
Yeah.
Nobody want?
No.
Okay.
No answers.
Okay, under our reports, my report is going to be very brief. First of all, I'm going to be meeting with Tom McCormick, who's our environmental person, to talk about his plans for he's starting up the beautification committee again. I think we have a couple of kids from the high school, young ladies from the high school that are going to be part of it. We're going to sit down and talk, and then he'll come up with a plan with the environmental and with the green team. They're going to merge everything together like it's been done before. Also, 6 o'clock on Thursday is the 9/11 memorial service at Fire Company Number 2, where the memorial is. There's a program that will be done. It'll start at 6 o'clock at night instead of early in the morning like we usually used to do. Also, I was at a barbecue for the pistol range, and a woman from Ridgewood lives in Waldwick, but she works for Ridgewood Social Services. She approached me and wants to talk to me about doing stuff for the seniors in our borough. Not the seniors that we already have, you know, the Golden Club but seniors in general, how she could help them with the services from the county. So I will I'll talk with her, and of course, once we talk, we will have her come to the meeting and discuss everything with the full council. That's all I have to report. Financial and Administrative Committee, Councilman Ritchie.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, everybody. I think in light of the audit presentation and everything we heard about the financials and the decrease in the surplus, I think I'll hold my comments, Andy, and wait for the next 2 weeks since we've been here an hour already. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Fire and Police Protection Committee, Mr. Brannick, Councilman Brannick.
Yes, clear. Okay. First of all, just congratulate the new officers that we have in place. I wish them well, successful careers. And because the meeting is running a bit long, I just wanted to take this time to assure the residents that although the fire department, a large portion will be attending the state convention this weekend, that the neighboring towns will supply coverage as we will for them. We've done this for many years in the past, and I assure the residents that fire protection will be more than adequate. Other than that, I have nothing else.
Okay, thank you very much. Public Safety Committee, Councilwoman Siricola Drake.
Thank you, Mayor. Starting with the Ambulance Corps, the officers have been working with our medical director to update our SOPs to expand our scope of practice to include additional interventions and medications that we could administer per the NJDOH protocols. All members have been trained, and we plan on going live in October. Second, they have performed 2 CPR trainings for local youth sports teams. That's all.
Thank you very much. Recreation and Health Committee, Mr. Montanello.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A few updates. On the Health Commission, we have our blood pressure screening coming up on October 1st on the White's Lane facility at 11:45 a.m. to 12:30. And the Child Health Clinic is on the 3rd Wednesday, which is coming up on September 17th. Also a reminder to go to their website at www.nwbrhc.org. There's a lot of events there you can sign up for that give great information to the Health on Public Events. Also on our sports front, the Soccer Association has started up their fall program. Great, best of luck to all the boys and girls playing this season, as well as our rec football program had their first games this past weekend, and they have their annual pep rally at the high school field tomorrow night at 6:30. That's it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Public Works Committee, Mr. Councilman Raimondo.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. Spoke with Mr. Latour, the Commissioner over the Director of the Public Works. Basically, his synopsis of what's going on, a lot of sewer maintenance lately, and that sanitary sewer as well as both the stormwater sewer system. Lawn maintenance is winding down. They're getting ready for the fall. The leaves getting ready to fall down, so they're going through their equipment to make sure that everything is up and running for the fall leaf pickups. Street sweeping, they've been running around the town, taking care of that on a regular basis. Patching a lot of the trenches from all the water main breaks and then other needs around the town. Once they bring in a patch truck, they're taking care of other things within the roadways that need to be patched. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Building and Grounds Committee, Councilwoman Weber.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Fortunately, I don't have much to report, which means everything has been running smoothly, and we haven't had to spend any money on any unexpected breakdowns in any of our facilities, so that's good. The park is going along schedule. I think we're still on, right, to be receiving the park equipment?
September 26th.
Same date, okay, September 26th, which is good. And that's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Borough Administrator Steve.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll be brief, but I do just want to take this moment to say, for those of you who don't know, this will be my last council meeting here in Waldwick, as I am moving on at the end of this month. So I really just want to say thank you. I'm very, very appreciative of the opportunity and working with all of you, getting to know you. I've come to love Waldwick like my own hometown, and I truly mean that. So to all the residents I've dealt with, some of the organizations, it's been an absolute pleasure. And I hope I won't be going too far, so I hope to cross paths in the future. And I'd just like to say, I have full confidence in my replacement will do an absolutely fantastic job. So thank you all.
Thank you. Borough Clerk, Ms. Kelly.
I just want to wish Steve the best in Glen Rock, and yeah, we will cross paths. We're pretty close.
Yeah.
But good luck to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
No other
Confident?
report.
Nothing else? Good for you.
After that.
Confidential Assistant, Tatiana.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you to Steve for his time here at the borough and you know, everything that he's been able to bring to the table for all of us to move our town forward. So we wish you the best of luck in Glen Rock, and we'll come knocking on your office door if we have to.
Thank you. Don't answer. Borough Attorney, Craig.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to congratulate your new officers and also thank Steve for his hard work that he put into the borough and wish him the best in the future.
Thank you. Consent resolutions and resolutions of the governing body.
Be it resolved that the following resolutions herewith listed by consent, having been considered by the governing body of the Borough of Waldeck, are hereby passed and approved. 2025-246, approval of consent. 2025-247, approval of minutes, regular meeting August 12th. Policy votes A. Maria Zaukas requests to hold a block party September 19th from 4 to 9 with Rustic Drive to be closed between Ackerman and Ackerman with alcoholic beverages being served with the stipulation that no fireworks or ground displays be permitted and nothing staked in the street. B. Gina Olido requests to hold a block party on October 25th from 1 to 9 p.m. with Evergreen Street to be closed between Hemlock and Floral Lane with Monroe Street open to Hemlock with alcoholic beverages being served. C. Jeremy Kay requests to use Pavilion A on October 5th from 11 to 4:30 for a private event with alcoholic beverages being served. D. The Village School requests to use municipal pool parking lot for staff parking on various dates as per their email dated August 19th. 2025-248, authorized joining of the Jersey Strong Coastal Coalition against the New Jersey Energy Master Plan. 2025-249, approval to offer a financial incentive to those eligible employees participating in the high deductible health benefit plan. 2025-250, approval of shared service agreement with the Waldeck Board of Education for SLEO 3 officers. 2025-251, award a fair and open contract to AJM Contractors for the 2024-2025 CDBG curb ramp improvements in the amount of $66,645. 2025-252, award a fair and open contract to Route 23 Auto Mall for a 2025 Ford F-350 truck in the amount of $72,490. 2025-253, award a fair and open contract to Foley Power Systems for 2 emergency generators, $153,702 each. 2025-254, authorize emergency appropriation for the fire truck tower ladder repair pursuant to NJS 40A:4-48. 2025-255 will not be used. 2025-256, authorize amendment to AutoCab license in style car in limbo. 2025-257, approval of off-premise merchandise raffle license for the Waldeck Football Club. 2025-258, approval of off-premise 50/50 raffle license for the Waldeck Football Club. 2025-259, approval of social affair permit for the Waldeck Chamber of Commerce. 2025-260, approval of the 2026 floating holiday. 2025-261, authorized waiver of permit fees for the Borough of Waldeck Police Firing Range roof and HVAC replacement project. 2025-262, accept the resignation of Stephen Neal as Borough Administrator. 2025-263, accept the resignation of Denise Broderick as Clerk Typist. 2025-264, accept the resignation of Vic James as the Pool Manager. 2025-265, appointment of Borough Administrator Tatiana Marquis. 2025-266, appointment of per diem crossing guard Jeffrey John Byrne. 2025-267, redemption of text title lien 24-00639, and 2025-268, payment of vouchers.
Do I have a motion and a second? Motion by Mark, second by Mike. On the question. Just want to talk about 2 items. One is 2025-2-265. I'm sorry, about the resignation of Steve Neal. As Steve told you tonight, this last meeting as our administrator. Steve will be starting his position as the administrator in Glen Rock September 29th. Even though Steve was here only 2.5 years, he had a great impact here on our borough. In that short period of time, he was involved in many projects in our borough. Many of them were very challenging. And I know you'll admit it. They're very challenging projects. He was a good listener to our department heads, employees, and especially to our residents. He even went above and beyond by going to the residents' homes to calm them down sometimes, so that they didn't come here and attack us. He always reviewed a request and gave an honest reason why it should be done or not. We want to thank you, Steve, for all you have done for our borough and our residents. You came into our lives at the right time. It was an amazing experience, and we'll never forget you. May you continue success and happiness in your new position as the administrator of Glen Rock. I know where you are. You're 3 towns away. And if we will meet, and we'll talk about the old times, and we'll talk about the new times. And I just want to thank you personally for having a great understanding and love for our residents and for our borough. And I wish you well. (2025-265) Tatiana. I know Tatiana a long time. She first came here a while ago and applied for a job, and she didn't get it. But she was very persistent, and she came back again, and this time she got it. When Steve told me that he was going on to another town, we talked, and I asked, we talked a little bit about what was going on. It was something that he told me, and it was uncomfortable for him to tell me, and it was a little uncomfortable for me to hear it. But Steve did say, look at Tatiana. She'll be good for our borough. And I want to thank you, Steve, for that. And I know you're going to be very good. You met with the Finance Committee, and they asked you questions, and you talked with them, and they gave you their approval. And I just want to thank you for taking on this responsibility. I want to thank Joe and the kids for allowing us to have her. So I think you better get somebody else to cook your meals, because she's going to be around a long time in our borough. She's going to be at a lot of late meetings, but you know what? Your wife is a good person. She's got a good heart. She comes from good stock, and I know she's going to be a great asset to our borough. And I want to thank you very much, Tatiana, and I look forward to many years of working with you. Anyone else? If no one else, please take the roll.
Mr. Brennick?
Yes.
Ms. Sarah Coladrake?
Yes.
Mr. Martinello?
Yes.
Mr. Raimondo?
Yes.
Mr. Ritchie?
Yes.
Mrs. Weber?
Yes.
We will have we have a public hearing. Would the clerk kindly read ordinance number 2025-18?
Ordinance number 2025-18, an ordinance to amend Chapter 48 fees, Section 48:1 miscellaneous fees, subsection 48:1-10.1 fee schedule for photocopying and other fees to include calendar ad and fee for same.
Anybody from the council would like to comment on this ordinance that was just read? Why don't you do it, because you'll be your last meeting.
I was going to kick this one. I'll do the next two.
That's okay. So this is really just some housekeeping, just to put the ads for our calendar. That's how the calendar is paid for, through the ads that we sell. And so this is just putting that fee to it, which is $425 per ad.
We've been low for a long time now.
Correct.
We did it up.
Yep.
Anyone else from the council? I close the council's comments and I open up to the public. Anybody from the public would like to comment on this ordinance that was just read? If seeing none, I call for a motion and a second to pass this ordinance on second reading, and that the clerk be authorized to advertise it in local legal newspapers required by law. Do I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Motion by Andy, second by Mark. Clerk, take the roll.
Mr. Brennick?
Yes.
Ms. Sarah Coladrake?
Yes.
Mr. Martinello?
Yes.
Mr. Raimondo?
Yes.
Mr. Ritchie?
Yes.
Mrs. Weber?
Yes.
Okay, we have three introduction of ordinances.
We
The first-
actually, I'm sorry, we only have two.
Two, which one we
Yes.
pulled?
We're getting rid of 21.
Getting rid of 21, okay. Would the clerk read ordinance number 2025-19?
Sure. Ordinance number 2025-19, an ordinance amending Chapter 12 Fire Department, Section 9, Insurance and Compensation Protection, subsection 2B2, Compensation other than insurance and liability, to increase the monetary portion associated with existing percentages.
A motion and a second is in order to pass this ordinance on first reading, and that it be advertised in local legal newspapers required by law, setting a public hearing 2 weeks from tonight's meeting at 7:30 p.m. or soon thereafter as the matter may be reached. Do I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Motion by Andy, second by Mike. On the question, anyone have a question for this?
I have a question, Mr. Mayor. Can we vote on it as a member of the fire department? I think so the last time. I just want to make sure it's...
vote to introduce it, you can't vote when it comes to the public hearing.
Okay. Anyone else have anything to say? If not, clerk, take the roll.
Mr. Brannick?
Yes.
Ms. Sarah Drake?
Yes.
Mr. Martinello?
Yes.
Mr. Raimondo?
Yes.
Mr. Ritchie?
Yes.
Mrs. Weber?
Yes.
Okay. Clerk, read ordinance number 2025-20.
Ordinance number 2025-20, an ordinance amending ordinance number 2025-15, fixing the compensation, salaries, and wages of the officials and employees of the Borough of Warwick to increase the range for the municipal clerk and the fire department.
A motion and a second is in order to pass this ordinance on first reading and it be advertised in local legal newspapers required by law, setting a public hearing 2 weeks from tonight's meeting at 7:30 p.m. or soon thereafter as the matter may be reached. Do I have a motion and a second? Motion by Joe, second by Andy. Anyone have a question? You want to do this one for the last time?
Sure. This one is just increasing the ranges for the municipal clerk in the salary ordinance, and then the fire department officials who it affects, which is the officers and the various positions.
Anyone else? The clerk kindly take the roll.
Mr. Brannick?
Yes.
Ms. Sarah Drake?
Yes.
Mr. Martinello?
Yes.
Mr. Raimondo?
Yes.
Mr. Ritchie?
Yes.
Mrs. Weber?
Yes.
Anybody from the council have unfinished business? Nope. We have 2 items for new business, fire prevention certificate of compliance, proposed fee.
Yeah, I'll just briefly talk about both of these. That one, we're gathering a little bit more detail before we have discussions on that. Basically, be looking to introduce a new level of inspection fee through the Fire Prevention Bureau. But I'm just going to pull together some additional details before we make a decision on that. So just kind of put that in the back of your head. We'll follow up with more info. And then if you want, just be also, again, just continue discussions on the new open space that was purchased at Wyckoff, 197 Wyckoff. Just really need to get some solid ideas in place. I recently submitted all the paperwork necessary for our Green Acres application, so when they announce that funding, we'll be able to. Whether you decide to move forward or not is a council decision. Nothing has been set in stone for what is going to happen on that property, so I would start just compiling ideas and make sure you have some solid things in place and ready to go for this.
Steve, do you still have the ones that we gave back in June?
Yeah, I have some kind of rough ideas, I would say.
It's like I emailed in a bunch, I think some others.
Yeah, so it's kind of all over the board.
You know what you should do, if you don't mind? Whoever sent stuff in,
Resend it.
resend it in, send it to Steve and Tatiana.
Okay.
Those, I'm sorry. The apps are due February of 26?
I think so, it's usually around there, yeah.
Did the grants company have come back with anything regarding that? I know we
Nothing.
kind of like brought it up briefly with them.
Yeah, we did, we talked about it and kind of some broad ideas. I guess they could go to work more, I think, for us once we have a solid plan. Like, really need to decide which houses are staying, or, you know, are they going, are they staying, what we want to keep, what you want to use those for. Because that will come into play too with the application. Because if, you know, whatever properties you maintain on that have to be related to open space and recreational purposes.
Yes.
Otherwise, you have to carve it out of that application.
Do,
Thanks, Steve.
what's going on, what's the update on the baseball fields, the paths?
Yeah, actually, I stopped over there today, and I took some pictures. I was going to share them out. So there are new ADA asphalt pathways at the Borough Park fields.
They're there now.
They're there now, yeah,
Right.
actually. Just wanted to make sure they were finished. So there's one now that leads kind of from the snack bar area to the main field with a nice,
Path.
landing zone pathway, yeah. And then behind the fields, actually, there's a whole new pathway that goes all the way around by where
So
the
it's really
bleachers are.
been completed now?
Yes.
And we didn't go for a grant or nothing?
No, not for that one. We were able to do just out of our open space trust.
Good.
For that.
Perfect. Any other new business?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor.
Sir?
Just want to say I attended the Board of Education meeting last night as part of my liaisons, and just wanted, the schools said that schools are open, everything is operating well. They were so appreciative of the new officers. A lot of feedback from parents in the audience there, and even a couple teachers who were there gave a lot of positive feedback about our new officers. Thanks to Lieutenant Seaford and the other police department members who interviewed them, and to the Board of Education and the members of council who worked with that So everything seems to be going well. And on a personal note, I have started, when I've taken my son to school so far, utilizing the new parking lot over there has helped in the flow of traffic. There's a lot of room there, so encourage other people, go through the Greenberg Center. It alleviates some of the stress on the front door. So that's a good old...
Good. Also, thank you. Also, at the end of the month, Saturday and Sunday, the Baseball Association is doing a Cooperstown Mums Sale. Please support them. This year, like we did last year, the Borough of Waldeck plants mums in our buildings. We are going to make sure that we buy from them. We already gave our order to Tatiana, so she's going to place them. And, you know, it'll be, they're going to be putting them in that Monday. But before that, they'll be planting some at the 9/11 for Thursday.
One other news item from the school, the school board did open up their public, transparent process on hiring the new superintendent. I know a lot of residents of town would be very interested in that process. So it's a long process they're going to go through. So I think President Marrow has a plan for an interim superintendent, which will serve the schools, and then they'll work on a long-term permanent replacement. So that'll be a process where the public will be informed on the replacement.
Okay, if not anybody else, we open up comments to the public. Anybody from the public, please come up.
Mayor,
State your...
do you want me to wait until after? I just wanted to say a few words.
You?
Yes, please.
Sure. You're our boss. We have to. Joe, she's starting already.
Get used to it.
Thank you. I want to extend my sincere thanks to the council for their support that you've shown me throughout this transition process. Especially grateful to Mayor Giordano for his immediate attention and the commitment that he showed to move the borough forward following Steve's announcement that he was heading out. So it's truly an honor to take on this role. I'm excited to continuing working alongside Kelly and all the other dedicated department heads. We have a few here this evening. We have an exceptional team. They work tirelessly to serve the residents of Waldwick, and I think collectively we have many opportunities for growth and for progress. Waldwick holds a special place in my heart. I take great pride in the opportunity to serve our community, and thank you, Rocco, Dominic, Andre, and Joe for being here tonight, and my mom, yes, it's coming, for showing their support. So appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I told Tatiana once she takes over, when Steve's last day, to have the DPW come in and rearrange the office, paint it if she wants, and move the desk and everything around. I told her she has to get the desk away from the way Steve is. The only reason why it's saying that, because I told this to Steve when you did it. Our first administrator was Gary Kratz. He was here over 35 years, and Craig knows the story. What happened is he had his desk that way. And I always said to him, why are you having your desk so that when the people walk in, and that's when the doors were unlocked, they see your back? And he said, his exact words were, because when someone comes in to shoot me, I don't want to know who it is. So Tatiana, you got to move your desk. Anyone from the public?
I thought Rocco and Dominic were doing the painting.
No, they're going to do my room burning.
Catherine Hartman, ooh, that was my maiden name. That was strange. I just wanted to follow up on the water meeting that we had over the summer. I recall we were going to have an in-person meeting in September. That was the goal. And I was wondering if there was like a date around that yet. And then if there had been any updates from the engineers regarding their investigations or plan moving forward. And given the audit information, should we pursue some of the more costly suggestions that the engineering firm made in their presentation? Does that come out of the water fund, or does that come out of our general fund? And do we have any idea what type of hit that would be to the general fund should some of the interventions that included more physical sort of changing of pipes and stuff be necessary? Because it just feels like we have a limited amount of money to do what could be significant work with.
So in regards to the meeting, nothing's set yet. We're going to try and coordinate that with the transition going on.
Sure,
It might
sure.
mess things up a little bit.
Yep.
But we are that is the plan, is to still have an in-person meeting. It will be a hybrid just like this, so people can participate online if they have to. And then regarding the budget, so that's the big question, is really what are we looking at? That's why we're taking the strategic
Right,
approach,
yeah.
looking at it. More than likely, all the infrastructure needs are going to be capital items, so not out of operating. So it would be out of water or capital, though, which is separate also. With that, that's why we really are doing the rate study and need to take a hard look at that. As from the auditor, we did pretty well with the water budget this year, but knowing what we're looking at. But now, again, that's over the course of 5-10 years, you know, long term. It's not like all these capital needs are going to be done in one shot.
Okay.
We'd be talking millions and millions of dollars. And I think we'd probably, you know, utilize the iBank again for very low interest loan. You know, maybe depending on the project specifics, you might see some forgiveness. Probably won't get as lucky as with PFAS. But so there are different options. That's kind of what's happening now, is weighing everything out. And that's why we really want to zero in and not just throw a number out there.
I think from a community perspective, at the next meeting, talking about the realities of what our current sort of assets are versus potential expenses with this would be helpful to residents to understand maybe why we're being so measured in actions and intervention, et cetera. Because it when you see it out like this, you're like, oh my goodness, that's just not all that much money. Okay, and no updates from the engineers regarding new information or
No,
nothing?
nothing too new to report. Things have been a little quiet because we've been doing some other work
Sure.
on the system too recently. So we're kind of just letting things settle for the most part.
Sure.
But yeah, I would anticipate by the next meeting should have some solid updates.
Great, thank you so much. Oh, okay, sorry about that.
Yes.
Two things. I just want to thank Steve Neal as well from the Waldeck Access for All Committee for all his hard work that he's done to help us improve safety at crosswalks for people with disabilities, for the park projects. I think you were involved even with the small park, the Ted Bell Park project, right? And the project that's going to be going on down at Lions Park. So I just really want to thank you from Access for All and all of us for your work. And Tatiana, you will be next to be dealing with the Access for All Committee. And we're trying to become much more of a vocal, contributor when things are done. Dan Marrow, I don't think is here anymore, has always involved Access for All in the wonderful work that's been done over at the school. And so I'm really looking forward to working with you on the committee, and Katie as well, being our representative or liaison. The second thing I wanted to ask about was with the water supply. One of the suggestions that I made at that meeting, and it kind of took off on somebody else's idea, to get a richer data set of complaints, because we always know the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? And so it's not necessarily, I know there have been other testing sites in town that have been selected, and I made a suggestion to do some type of a survey that could go out to the town, either by text message or some way, that people who might not be reporting problems could report them. And that might just add to the richness of the data set that they're using to come up with solutions. So just want to see if anything had been happening on that front. And I know there's been transition happening, so yeah.
Yeah, but we did talk with our engineers about that, so we're going to kind of fine tune it, take what we have on the website, that form currently, and kind of put it into a little different format. So we can kick it out through Nixle, which will also send a text message.
Okay, terrific. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone else? If not, do I have a motion to adjourn? Motion by Andy, second by Katie. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Enjoy the convention, Andy.